You don't need closure. You don't. I feel like closure is a myth. Closure is a scheme set up by Todd, and you don't need it. Today I'm doing something a little different. I realized that I just jumped straight into the vlogs and I never introduced myself. How rude of me. Please excuse me, please. But today I'm gonna do that, but I'm also gonna do my take on a trend. Have y'all seen like the people do, like however old they are, then they talk about however lessons that they've learned getting to that age, I guess? Mine, I'm 21, so 21 things, 21 lessons that I've learned in 21 years. Yes, advice. I'm giving my advice. And I love giving people advice. I'm an older sister. I'm the oldest of 5. So that's like a part of my title. Like, I take so much pride in being an eldest sister. Like, my siblings are the most important part of my life. I will do anything for them. And I just love being their big sister. But with that, I always get like comments and like people talking to me, or like my brother's friends or whoever. They're always like, oh my god, I wish I had a big sister like you. Like, what do you think about this? And just asking me my opinions, which I feel really grateful to have people ask me that, because like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just living. I'm figuring out myself. But I will say that I do think I have a lot of common sense, and I don't know, I'm not ever gonna steer anybody wrong intentionally. I can just give what I know and like what I've been through and give it to the next. Give it to the youngins. You know, I'm getting old in age, you know. I'm feeling a little old. 21 feels very adult-like. I'm literally a 3-year-old adult. However, if you feel like you can take some advice from this video or learn a lesson yourself, keep watching. But before we start, I'm gonna introduce myself a little bit. So hi, hey, my name's Amiyah. I am a senior at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And yeah, I am majoring in biopsychology, cognitive neuroscience. It's a long name. I'm studying the brain. That's basically what it is. And I'm doing all that in the hopes of becoming a speech language pathologist. And you're probably wondering, girl, how does psychology have anything to do with linguistics? I'm gonna master in communication science disorders. So yeah, I'm gonna be a speech therapist for children on the spectrum and do early intervention so we can get them kids communicating. And if this content thing works out, I might be a travel blogger. So people always tell me how I give great advice and then be like, girl, Maya, here's your PhD, because my advice is so good. So I feel qualified, I do, but these are just all my opinions. So do what works for you, take what works for you. This is just what I've learned and what works for me. And yeah, I'm obviously only 21, so like I was saying, I feel old, but I'm really not. I have so much more life to live, so many more lessons to learn, but thus far, this is what I've learned. So let's get into it. Lesson number 1, the relationship that you have with yourself is the most important relationship in your entire life. You start this world by yourself and you're gonna leave this world by yourself. That's the very morbid reality, right? And the way you treat yourself and the way you value yourself will show up in every single relationship that you have, whether it's familial, friendships, romantic relationships, work life, school life, whatever the case might be. It's going to affect you in all those different areas. When you start treating yourself better and really valuing the relationship that you have with yourself, you're not going to accept anything that you don't deserve. You won't accept things for convenience or accept things just because they're there for you and it's convenient for you to have at the time. You'll start going after the things that you want because you know you just deserve them. Like, it's you. It's your life. You need to have the things that you want to have. And that comes from having a high value relationship with yourself. You become more intentional about the things that you're doing, who you're hanging around, the things you're putting in your body. It's just so much. And all of that, like, Everything starts within. Like, once you deal with what's going on inside and have that positive relationship and that loving relationship within yourself, that's when you can start giving that to others and receiving that from others as well, because you're not going to receive or accept anything else. You start realizing that you can depend on yourself. And that's very important because, like I said, at the end of the day, you might have like your family, like I'm blessed with an amazing family. However, I have to live this life for me. I'm the only one who's like doing it. It's me, it's mine. I have to love myself. I have to do it. So I have to have a positive relationship with myself so that I'm able to do everything that I want to do. I also want to add that the relationship you have with yourself will teach other people how they should treat you. So if someone sees, and I'm not saying like a good person would do this, like if somebody sees that you're constantly talking bad about yourself or down about yourself, they're gonna think that you accept that and they're going to treat you as such. And we don't need that. You speak to yourself with kindness, with love, with confidence, and you receive that, right? And if you're not receiving that, it doesn't bother you or you don't put any attention to it because you're so fulfilled within yourself. Some of the ways that I bettered my relationship with myself was by practicing affirmations. I love affirmations. I do them daily. I spend time making myself feel good, whether that's doing self-care, doing my hair, my nails. I am constantly complimenting myself all day, every day. Like, pour into yourself. Do it. The relationship that you have with yourself is going to follow you everywhere, so you might as well make it a good one or put the work in to make it a good one. Because you're amazing. Like, you're you. Know that. Trust that. Lesson number 2 that I learned would be to stop waiting for the perfect moment and stop waiting until you're that girl in the future where she just has X, Y, and Z, all the things you want, all your desires. Stop waiting until you're that person to start doing the things that that person is doing. I don't know if I said that properly, but that's what I'm thinking. I feel like when I was younger, I would wait and wait and wait because I felt like I wasn't ready, because I wasn't this specific version of myself that I had in my head, which was holding me back from becoming that person. I romanticized the future so much so that I would be in the present and just feel stuck. Like, I felt like I couldn't do certain things because I wasn't at a certain place already. That was hindering me. That was not conducive to me at all. It doesn't help. Ever. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. And let me tell you why. You're holding yourself back. When you do that, you are further affirming in your own mind that you're not ready for something when you could 1,000% be ready. You're gonna get ready. If you're not ready yet, you will get ready. Just do it. Do it now. And by doing it now, you're gonna start building the habits that that person has or that version of you have. You have to get used to it before it's yours. You have to sort of act like it's yours before you physically see it in your reality. And that's okay. I feel like that is so much better and makes so much more progress than simply waiting. Waiting to be that person, but not putting in the work to be that person because you're scared. Or because you feel you're not ready. When you are ready, you can get ready. I think a lot of that comes from separating yourself from your goals. I feel like sometimes I would say, oh, I need to have this done before I can try that, or I need to be this age before I can buy this or do this. That's not true. That is not true. Go work towards your goals instead of having such big dreams and big goals that you feel like you can't conquer it now. You absolutely can. And if you can't just yet, you can do things to help you get to that point. So you can start building daily habits of this person or what this future version of yourself has. And you're still making progress and you're still getting ready for something, even if you feel unprepared for it. A great way that I kind of stopped doing this or stopped myself from doing this was by keeping any promise that I made to myself. If I said I was going to do this thing and I set this goal and I put a certain date on it, I'm gonna do it. And that is further affirming, like, hey, I can do these things. I'm checking them off my list right now. Like, I don't have to wait and I don't have to be scared or wait until the perfect timing or I'm this perfect version of myself to do something that I know I want to do. YouTube, for example. I'm not a 27-year-old living in a penthouse in Chicago right now. I'm not. But I'm still trying, and that's okay. And that's good. This is something that I know that I want to do in the future, and something I know I want to pursue in the future. I have to practice now so that I'll be ready then. Chew on that. Think about that. This next one I learned from my best friend, and it's wear the clothes. Life is way too short to be saving your outfits. Wear the cute clothes now. Don't be afraid of doing too much, and just do it. It's okay. You look good. You're confident in it. Wear it. Like, I don't know. And I think sometimes, at least for me, when I would be saving outfits that I thought were too cute for a certain occasion, I was just shrinking myself. So going to a PWI, everybody wears like pajamas to class and sweats and just, not like, no shade, not to be rude or anything, but like, we be wearing sweats. We wear sweats to class. Like, that's primarily what everybody is wearing. Pajamas, sweats, very casual. That's it, right? And I feel like sometimes as a black woman on campus, you already feel like a bunch of people are already looking at you because you're normally the minority in your classes. And they're already looking at you, right? That's what's happening. So wearing something that was extra or too put together, too cute, whatever the case might be, it felt like even more attention was being on me, right? So I didn't do it. I wear my sweats too. And it's fine to wear your sweats, but don't shrink yourself because you feel like you're doing too much. Wear those clothes. You bought them. Wear them. They're cute. Wear them. I had to learn that. And the biggest example I have of that, I have a fur jacket, right? It's really cute. I'm going to insert a picture right there, wherever I put it. I love that fur coat so much. The second I picked it up, my best friend and I, we got matching ones. The second I picked up that jacket and I put that jacket on, I felt like I was floating. Like, I love that coat. I love that coat so much I named that coat. That fur jacket, her name is Big Mama. And I was so like, it was sitting in my closet like for so long. And I never wore it ever. I didn't have anywhere to wear it to is what I told myself. And I feel like it was doing too much for class. You know, I don't really see too many people walking around my campus with furs on or anything like that. They just don't do that. And so I didn't wear it. And then it was one day that it clicked to me like, this expensive coat, I haven't worn it. I love it so much. I really wasn't going anywhere but class, if I'm being honest. So I'm like, wait, I'm gonna wear my fur coat. It's cold outside. It's a perfect temperature. It's not raining or anything. I'm gonna wear my fur coat and I'm gonna love it. So I wore my fur coat to class and I loved it and I looked amazing wearing it. And I felt so good in it, and it felt very freeing to know that I wore something for me and I didn't care. And I didn't waste it. You know how long I'd be having clothes sitting in my closet because I thought they were too much for a certain occasion? I'm not doing that anymore. In fact, I bought a whole new wardrobe for senior year. I'm going out with a bang, okay? And I'm not shrinking anymore. If I'm doing too much and you're not doing enough, catch up, okay? And you should be dressing for you, and you should wear the clothes. Life is simply too short to not wear what you buy. And in this economy, it's not smart to not wear what you buy. Everything is expensive. Wear the clothes that you're buying, and you're gonna feel good wearing them and feel beautiful in them, and that's really all that matters. This one kind of ties into the last one, and it's take the picture. This isn't necessarily something I've learned. I've really always been this way. I love taking pictures of myself. I love taking pictures of other people. It makes me happy, right? I have tons of cameras, right? And I didn't know that everybody didn't like taking pictures until I kind of started forcing people to do it. And they're like, no, I don't want pictures. No, I'm okay. And then I had to force them. Like my mom, for example. My mom doesn't really take many pictures. She doesn't like other people taking her pictures for real. I'm gonna force her to take a picture whenever she looks good. Take the picture, because you're gonna want the memories. And then on a deeper level, taking pictures and looking at yourself is a great way to work on your confidence. In a great way to also deal with body dysmorphia. Like, you look how you look in your photos. That's you in that photo. Love yourself. You're beautiful. It's okay. And I think that also helped me because even if I take a bad picture and I'll be looking chopped and screwed sometimes, like minced. I walk around the house, even sometimes out the house. Sometimes I just look like Adam Sandler, okay? But even then, I don't feel any less beautiful. I don't feel anything but myself even in those moments, and I think it's because I take so many pictures. Like, I think I have a very good grasp on who I am and like what I look like as a human being, and I love that. It's me. This is what I'm gonna look like, and I can't change it, and I wouldn't change it, and I would love for everybody to feel that way. And I think taking a bunch of pictures of yourself, it helps you in those ways. It helps you feel beautiful. It helps you be able to look back, oh my god, this is what I looked like at 18 years old. This is how I looked at 14 years old. Like, honestly, and at 14, I was running from the camera because I was going through a little awkward phase, but that's okay. That's just me being honest. But after that, I figured out, like, wait, I wish I had pictures from 14 or 13. I have no pictures from when I was 13 years old. Because I felt so, like, crummy in my skin at 13 years old. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like myself. And obviously, you're going through puberty. You're figuring out what yourself is. But I have no pictures from that. But now me as a 21-year-old, I wish I had pictures from that. I wish I knew what I looked like at 13. Now I only have the ones that my parents have taken of me or relatives have taken of me, none of my own. So I feel like that is something people everywhere should start doing, whether you're a man, woman, whatever you are, whoever you are, wherever you are. Take the picture. Take it in public, take it alone, take it with your friends, and take pictures of your friends as well. Like, my friends get mad at me. They get mad at me because I will force you to take a picture. I don't care. As much money as I spent on these cameras and restoring my digicams and buying digicams, you're gonna take a photo and you're gonna love it. And if you don't love it, I'm gonna keep taking your photo until you do love it. And I feel like everybody should have that same mentality because you're gonna have a bunch of photos that you look great in, and you're gonna have a bunch of memories to look back on. Think about when you're 90 or even younger than that, when you're 50 something and you're showing your kids, oh my god, look at how cute I was when I was 20 years old. You need to take pictures for that to happen. That's the only way. Okay, next is romanticizing your life. And what that means is taking the small mundane moments of your life or things that you might not find exciting and sort of making them exciting, making them enjoyable. I feel like when you romanticize your life, you always have something to look forward to. So you don't have to necessarily wait for your birthday or a vacation or some important big date going on. You can do that in your regular day. And as a college student, that is probably the best way that I keep my mental health and keep sane while I'm in school, is by romanticizing my life and doing the things that truly make me happy and somehow combining it into the things that might be boring or might make me feel stressed or whatever the case might be. So say I'm studying, for example. I have a huge test coming up. I'm stressed out. I'm bored. I don't want to study the material. That's what the situation is, right? I could stay in my room, stay in my apartment, and just sit at a table and stare at the book, right? I can study, watch the videos, do the work all over again, and that'll be my night. That'll be my Friday night. I'm studying, right? Or I can call a friend. We can go to a cafe, maybe, I don't know, somewhere we can get dinner, something nice, and we can study there. You have a nice ambiance around you. You aren't in the house staring at the same four walls over and over again, but you're still studying. You're still getting the work done, but you're romanticizing it. Or even want to take it a step further, even more basic, right? Showering. Get a nice shower routine. Get a nice shower lamp so you can have the lights dim. Have a seat in your shower. Really make it like a spa experience. Make it a spa experience. And get relaxed in there. That's romanticizing it. buying yourself flowers on the daily. If you're not getting flowers from anyone else, buy them for yourself. That's a way of romanticizing your life. I'm still working on this because I told y'all I'd be walking around like Adam Sandler. But one way I've started like romanticizing my life is like romanticizing how I go to sleep. So what that means is instead of wearing like raggedy pajamas that has like paint on it or old t-shirts, whatever the case is, I bought cute pajamas and things that make me feel nice, or my bonnet is matching my pajamas. Things like that change how you feel in your day-to-day. And eventually these things that feel like, oh my god, these are so extra, it eventually becomes habits and you start being like, oh, I needed that. Like, I'm so looking forward to this. Romanticize your life, enjoy your life, and make it fun. It's a great way to make it fun, enjoyable, and create experiences for yourself. Next is always have a vision. As a young woman, I feel like it's so crucial to know where you want to go and where you want to end up. And you might not have everything figured out, but having some sort of vision and direction that you know you want to go in is so important because it'll help you make sure you're not going nowhere. For me, to figure that out, I asked myself a bunch of different questions, like what kind of woman do I want to be? How do I want to carry myself? How do I walk into a room? What types of things am I putting in my body? What do I eat? What are my daily habits? Where are the places I go? How do I dress? A lot of questions like that, and just figuring out really what you want out of life, what you want for yourself, what you want for your career, your home, your family. Figuring that out. And it can always change. I think that is something I struggle with. I'll get a vision in my head and be very specific about how I want it to show up and where I want to go and where I want to end up. It's okay for things to change. You're going to grow and change always. And if you're not changing, you're not growing. So it's very important that you know that, because once you know kind of where you want to end up and who you want to be, or just an idea if you don't know exactly what that person is or who that person is, having an idea of that will make it very hard for you to stray from your path. So when you have a goal and a vision, you have something to look forward to. If you feel like, oh my god, I don't know where I am right now or what I'm doing, and you kind of just feel a little lost, you can always look at something. Look within your journal, vision board, whatever the case might be. You can look at that and remember, okay, let me get back on my Zoom. I want to do this. I need to figure this out. This is the next step. It kind of just gives you a map in a sense. Like, you might not know how you're necessarily going to get there, when you're going to get there, or what the exact path to get there is, but you have an idea of where you want to go. The way I make this show up in my own life is I like to vision board and I like to journal. So one thing I do is at the beginning of every month, I kind of write a letter to myself of the version of me at the end of the month. So I'm like, hey, this is the things that I want to do, the things I want to complete, the people I want to meet, places I want to go, how I want to carry myself this month. This is the overall vibe of the month. And I write that letter to myself. I read it back at the end of the month and I kind of just reflect. And I go, okay, this might not have gone as planned, but why is that? Where was I slacking to why I didn't reach this goal that I had this month? And it allows you to just reflect and learn and better yourself for next month. And then you just keep that cycle going on, and eventually you're where you want to be. I also like to vision board. I feel like vision boarding, that's a separate video in its own. Every vision board I've made has come true. Every single one. Specifically the ones from 2023 and 2026. 2026 isn't even over yet, and I have fully accomplished my vision board and like experienced the things that are on my vision board. I think that's so beautiful. I'm gonna make a video about that because it's kind of crazy. But I use the vision board to guide myself. So I look at it every single day, multiple times a day. I literally have it on my phone screen. So I keep it up with me all the time, and I look at it whenever. I probably look at my phone 1,000 times a day, right? But I'm also looking at my vision board, so it's not bad, okay? Looking at a vision board kind of just helps me physically see what I want to see, and then I also started taking pictures that are similar to my vision board. So if there's any recurring themes, like money is always on my vision board. But whenever I get paid or my bank account hits something high, put a nice amount of money in there, I screenshot it and I just keep putting it on my board, and it keeps getting back into my account. I don't know. But that's just a way, like an example of how vision boarding can look and how that can help you have that vision for your life. And also helps you keep on track. So you're visually seeing, okay, did I do this? How can I get there? Helps you make your plans. I think this part of the lesson can be a little tricky because sometimes when you have a vision and you're so connected to it, it's easy to get so tied up in just feeling like you need to be in control 24/7, and that's really not the case. Having a vision and knowing which direction you want to go in and being okay with the changes and the twists and turns that comes with that is very healthy, whereas being so tied up to the vision that you physically are not enjoying yourself now is where it gets a little unhealthy. So be careful with that, and remember that right now the version of you as you are, where you are, that is a version that past you would have loved to become and is so proud of, and you couldn't get to where you are now without the past version of yourself. So love yourself, love where you are now, while also keeping in mind where you want to go. The things you want in life don't need to make sense to anybody else at all, and you don't need to explain yourself. I feel like whenever someone is wanting something or has a goal or a dream, whatever the case might be, it always comes with opinions, right? You don't have to take all those opinions. It doesn't matter who they're from. You could love this person with all your heart. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to take their advice, right? And you have to remember that a lot of advice comes from people's personal experiences, right? So they're giving you advice based off of what they had going on, the best that they know. That does not apply to you. If you want something and you see something for yourself, or you are like, oh, I'm not dealing with that, or I want to have this. This is my dream. I want to go here. I'm going to move here. Do that for yourself. Find out for yourself. You're going to have to learn, right? And if you trip and fall and you mess up or do whatever, that's okay, because that was meant to happen to you. You were meant to have that experience. You were meant to learn from it. But don't not give yourself something or try and convince yourself that you can't have something because someone else told you can't. Yeah, I'm gonna get a little personal, okay? An example of this for me is kind of an example, right? So I'm pretty strict when it comes to dating and things. I'm not dealing with nothing I don't have to deal with. I don't play. That's just what it is. And sometimes men can be like, oh, that's just how men are, like, you're gonna have to deal with this and that, like, boys will be boys, blah. They'll say stuff like that to you up and down. No, I don't have to accept that. I won't accept that. I refuse to accept that, and I won't be going anywhere where I would have to accept that. This ties back to my first point. The relationship with yourself is the most important. I will not accept those things simply because I know I don't deserve them. And I will not let anyone convince me that me wanting a partner that matches the way that I treat myself and me not settling for anything less than that, I will not convince myself that that's impossible, because men will act how men act. Mine won't act like that. Sorry, like, you can't convince me of otherwise. No, I will not go for that behavior. Absolutely not. And I'm not going to let anybody convince me that I can't have that, or that that type of relationship is impossible. It's very possible. But don't let anybody tell you that you can't have something or do something that you are visualizing for yourself. Don't accept that, because it's not true. It's your life, and people give from their experiences, right? I'm giving you these lessons and advice and things of that nature from my experiences. I'm not necessarily 100% right. This is just the things that I've experienced in my life and the things that I've taken away from them. People love you and they're trying to prepare you, or whatever the case might be. It's okay. Take their advice, listen to it, but at the end of the day, be so comfortable and right with yourself that you can tell the difference between someone else's voice and your voice. Very important. This one is for my ladies with the menstrual cycle. I my hormones used to be all over the place. I was losing my mind until I learned about my cycle, which most women have. Learn about that and really do your research and take note of how you're feeling during what time of the month and figure it out. Balancing your life with your cycle quite literally changed my life. I realized I was able to figure out, like, okay, my hormones are pretty rampant at this point in time. Let me do this differently. My energy's low. I feel terrible in my body right now. I lose my mind in my luteal phase, right? So I act accordingly. I adjust my schedule accordingly. Or at least I try to. I know that during my luteal phase, I tend to feel a little bit more anxious, so I won't sign up to do a presentation in class for that week if I can control it. I'll wait until before or after that phase is over. I know that when I'm on my cycle, I feel super weak, and I'm on my menstrual, I feel really weak in my body. So I don't plan on doing any hardcore things at the gym during that week. You just have to learn your body and kind of figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And once I started doing that, I felt like I was working with myself rather than against myself, and trying to force myself to do things when I'm super tired or I just don't have the energy, or I do have a bunch of energy and have nowhere to put it. Learn your cycle, learn your body, make them work together if possible, because it's still hard. Like, it's still hard for me. I used to think something was wrong with me. Like, I would be like, why do I feel like a werewolf today? Like, I could be so happy and gumdrops and rainbows and everything's great. I go to sleep, I wake up the next day, I'm in my luteal phase. Boy, oh boy, everybody, I'm mad at the world. Stay out my way. Next one is to find your signature scent. So when I'm thinking about perfumes, or like, I don't know, I like a vanilla scent, right? And I learned that you should layer your scents, right? So all your perfumes and fragrances, all your perfumes and fragrances should kind of complement each other, right? So that goes for your shower gel, your body wash, your lotions, scrubs, oils, powder. Oh my god, dusting powder changed my life. Invest in a dusting powder or make your own. That, your perfumes, your oils, just make sure all of those complement each other, because that'll make your scent more potent. And then you also want to make sure that you're not putting fragrance and perfume, and you don't need to be putting vanilla cherry kisses on top of funk. Make sure you're clean before you're spraying your perfumes and doing all the things, because it just doesn't work any other way. Next one is the 2 out of 3 rule. And this is really just my opinion. It's not necessarily a lesson, but it helps. It definitely helps. So I would look online and I would see girls just look so put together, and I think to myself, I want to look like that. Like, I want to be put together. And the 2 out of 3 rule is the easiest way to keep yourself looking put together without doing the most, right? So 3 things: hair, brows, nails. 2 of these 3 things should be done at all times, and they can alternate, right? So as you can see, my hair is done, my brows are done, my nails, however, are not done. I personally feel like I still look put together even though my nails look like toddler hands, right? I feel like having 2 of these things done at all times helps you look put together, and it helps you feel put together as well. You ever like get out the car and you're like, oh my god, I hope I don't see anybody I know? I don't really feel that way as much when I use the 2 out of 3 rule, because I feel like I still look put together. And I'm curious, like, can you guys try that out? Like, obviously it would be nice to have 3 out of the 3 done. However, life be lifing sometimes, and sometimes it's just not gonna work out like that. So 2 out of 3, hair, nails, brows, keep them done. And that's one of the easiest ways to look put together and look really nice and just cutesy and always be ready. So my next one is your gut knows before your brain does. I'm someone, I feel like I have a very strong intuition, and I feel like I'm very tapped in and in tune with my intuition. And a lot of times when it's ever a problem or some type of complication or situation and I just feel like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I be knowing what to do. And I think a lot of times it'll be my brain trying to convince me of something more pleasant than what my intuition knows. And I think that it's very important to just listen to your intuition. You're going to save yourself from so much if you just listen to your intuition the first time. That also can tie into knowing your body. Sometimes, things be talking different. Like, your body speaks differently to you during different parts of your cycle and during your menstrual cycle. So I think taking into account that, and then also your intuition and kind of tying those two together. Sometimes you don't need to prove yourself right. And I think that happens a lot with just thinking and overthinking in general. Trust your gut. You don't need to prove your gut right. Your gut is your gut and your intuition is yours. And it's 9 times out of 10 correct. Even if you don't know why yet. You ever have a situation where you're like, I knew this was about to happen. Like, I felt this months ago. But you stuck around because you wanted to make sure that you were right? Or you wanted to prove yourself wrong? Don't do that. You don't need to do that. You were right, queen. You were right. This next point is something that changed my life. Learn to calm your nervous system. Ooh wee. I used to be a nervous ball of stress, and sometimes I still am. I can get very tense, right? But I learned how to calm my nervous system because I had no other option. I was going to break in half, literally, if I didn't. You have to learn to calm your nervous system, and that can be different for everybody. You kind of just have to learn yourself and figure out what that looks like for you. For me, that looks like EFT tapping, that looks like painting, spending time with my family, my siblings, and just taking time for myself to really recharge and rest before I go out into the world and do anything else. You have to have a even level nervous system. You kind of want to have some type of equilibrium in your body so that you can operate from that calm space. Meditating is a great way to do it as well. I feel like working on your breath and your breathing is so helpful. It really can calm you down, and it takes your body out of fight or flight, which you really never want to be in. You ever just realize when you're going to bed, like your shoulders are like this, or your jaw is super clenched, or like picking at your nails? That's your nervous system trying to find a way to escape and release. Kind of have to figure out what you like. And let me tell you, after working on my nervous system and really learning how to manage and regulate stress, I feel so much happier, and I can handle so much more. I started regulating my nervous system and practicing things and habits that make me feel better and more relaxed daily. I was able to withstand a little more. I could get more things done, or I was more pleasant, or certain things just wouldn't get to me because I felt so calm within myself. I was chill. It was great. Work on that. It really did change my life. Stop rushing your life, please. I realized that when I'm rushing and in a constant rush, even if I have nowhere to go, sometimes I'm still rushing. And it causes a lot of stress and a lot of tension that you don't need to have. Why are you rushing? What's the rush? Where do you have to go? I had to think one time, I think I was getting ready for class or something, and I was moving so fast, and I'm thinking, why am I going this fast? I'm stressing myself out. I'm I gotta get this done in 5 minutes, this, and making a mental list in my head of things that I have to get done within 30 minutes, when really I had no rush. I had 2 hours. There's no need to rush. Don't rush through your life, because then you're gonna look back and realize that it wasn't that pleasant rushing. And something I remind myself when I catch myself rushing and doing things overly fast is that I'm gonna get to where I'm meant to be regardless. Whenever I'm meant to get there, whenever I'm meant to be there. Whether it's a mental rush, an emotional rush, physically you're rushing to get somewhere, relax. You're gonna get there whenever you're meant to get there. It's okay. Next one is rest isn't being lazy. Oh, I still kind of struggle with this one, not gonna lie. But being in school, they I don't know. they work us to the white bone. Like we don't have any breaks really, and it's back to back to back. And a lot of times when you have work like that, and like just assignment after assignment, project after project, and it's mentally tasking, you can start feeling guilty for resting, but you need your rest. You have to rest or you will burn out. And if you burn out, who's going to do the work? Nobody. You have to do the work. You cannot burn out. Burning out is an option. And when that happens, it's so hard to get caught back up. So if you rest and take these periodic rest periods and really be gentle with your time and figuring out and always making time for yourself to have those small breaks of rest, you're preventing burnout and you're helping yourself so much in the long run. And you're not being lazy. It's okay. And if other people are telling you that you're being lazy, tune them out. They're not in your body. They don't know what you're doing or what you have going on. You're not being lazy. Take your rest. Take your rest period. Learn how to bounce back. So life is going to happen. Life is going to life. Life is beautiful. However, it can beat you up. It can. And when that happens, you have to know and learn how to get back up. And what I mean by that is learning the tools and the habits that can kind of take you out that funky spot and get you back into a place where you're able to move and groove the way that you like, in a way that makes you feel happy and most like yourself. It's tough. Sometimes it's really hard. Like, you're gonna cry, you're gonna go through things, stuff's gonna happen to you, you're gonna learn a lot. And it's gonna feel like it's happening really fast, especially from 18 and now. I need a break. Okay, I need a break. But you have to learn how to bounce back. And I feel like 2025, if I'm being so real, almost took me out. Y'all almost lost me. No joke. However, I learned how to bounce back, and I learned the things that I needed to do to make me feel better, which a bunch of different things, right? I just had to figure that stuff out and deal with it. I couldn't just brush it under a rug and try and move on and do whatever the case might be. I had to figure out, girl, why are you so sad? What happened? Like, you're stressed, you're tired, you're not taking care of yourself the right ways in the best ways that you possibly could. And I realized that's why I was not bouncing back properly. I wasn't dealing with anything. If something was bothering me, I would push it under a rug or say, okay, I'll deal with it later. I got so much to do right now. I'll figure that out later, and just push it off, right? And then it never ends up getting dealt with, and then you crash. Let's not crash, and let's figure out how to bounce back from these setbacks, from the hard times, and just the times where you feel like life is really lifing. Learning to bounce back can look like a bunch of different things. For me, I had to deal with what was bothering me, and I had to deal with it. I just had to figure out how to deal with it, whether that's having uncomfortable conversations, learning different things about yourself, and getting really deep and uncomfortably deep, figuring out what bothers you and why it's bothering you. And that way you're able to get back up, and you're gonna keep having these skills to where when life gets hard again, because it may or may not happen, everybody goes through stuff, so it's probably gonna happen again. But when life gets hard again, you're gonna have these tools, and you're going to know how to bounce back the next time, and maybe even do it a little faster, who knows. But you'll know how to do it, and it won't feel like this foreign thing of, oh, I feel broken, but I don't know how to put myself back together, figure it out. You won't experience that, hopefully. It's not fun. It's really not. However, grass is greener on the other side. Just stay another day, keep going, and it's gonna be better. Everything gets better. You just have to learn and grow. That's what it is at the end of the day. But bouncing back is extremely important, because you never want to stay in a dark place. Whenever I feel myself like, okay, I feel like I'm getting in a funk, I gotta change something up, I do something that makes me feel so much joy. So sometimes that's watching a Marvel movie, sometimes that's hanging out with my siblings, painting, or just getting cute and like doing my makeup, my hair, stuff like that. And then there's other times where it might not be that easy and you have to force yourself to do something, whether it's going to the gym or taking a walk outside. You have to force yourself sometimes. Force yourself to bounce back. I'm not saying don't take the time to heal or feel your feelings or whatever you're going through, but you gotta get back up every single time. You have to get back up, because if you stay down for too long, getting up only seems harder. Next one is, you don't have to have your whole life figured out. Growing up, I was so strict on myself. It was a lot. However, I really thought I had everything figured out and everything planned. And thus far, I really have. Like, I knew I wanted to go to college. I kind of knew where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, kind of. And I had that plan. But once I graduate, like, I don't know if I thought, like, life ended or just, like, started being done for you after you graduate college. But I don't necessarily know what's next. I can't necessarily plan that out to a T how I planned out schooling and all these different parts of my life that have happened thus far. I can't plan that right now. I can have a vision for it. I can have an idea of what I want, but I honestly have no clue or control over what happens next. But what I have control over is the habits that I'm doing now and the position that I put myself in for the future. I have a lot of control over that, and I can manage that, and that's something that I can do to make sure that I end up in the places that I want to be. However, I can't control life, and I don't have to have it all figured out right this second, and that's okay. Next one is keep your standards high. Having high standards will save you from so many unnecessary experiences that you don't necessarily need to have. And what I mean by that is you're saving yourself from a lot, girl. You don't, like, and not to say I'm judging, but like sometimes I can just look at certain things and compare. If my standards weren't high in this area, then I could be dealing with something like that. And that's enough to scare me to never lower my standards. Ever. Despite what some people might say, I really do feel like there is someone in the world that will give you exactly what you're looking for and exactly what you're wanting your partner to have. And you shouldn't settle for anything but that. And obviously there's going to be times for compromise or disagreements or whatever the case might be. Nobody's perfect. However, there are certain things that you will not have to compromise on. Point blank, period. And you should never settle on those certain things. You have to figure out what that means for you specifically, but don't settle on those things. And keep those standards high, because it's saving you from a lot. Like, it's so much. Like, there's so many things that I just haven't necessarily experienced or I've saved myself from just because I have high standards. So many different things. So many. Anyway, because you deserve exactly what you want out of this life, and you should walk away from anything that is less than what you deserve and less than what your standards are. Never settle. You don't have to settle. You never have to settle. Ever. Business dealing with them, because your standards, like, they don't even qualify to be a part of your program. So why are they in your program, sister? Why? Your standards matter to you. And if anybody tries to tell you they're unreasonable or it's never gonna happen, punch them in the face, because honestly, you can have whatever you want in this life. And I fully believe that. Don't settle. Keep them standards high. High five me. This one is very important. Don't text when you're emotional. Now, I don't do this, but people, for some reason, hold on. I've done it before. Everybody's done it before. People often do it to me, though, and I'm often the recipient of these emotional texts. And I think that it's very important to take a beat and relax real quick as much as you can and really think about what you're saying. Is it true? Is it logical? And is it something that you're going to regret saying later? Think about that. And if it's none of those things, then shoot, send that text. But like, if you're gonna regret it later, do not send that. And if it's not logical, do not send that. And if you're lying, what are you lying for? Definitely don't send that. Really think about what you're saying before you send it to somebody, because there's a recipient of that text and it just doesn't make sense and it doesn't end well. Don't do it. And say you are emotional and you do send a text, right? If you answer those 3 questions, 9 times out of 10, you just could have avoided the situation and didn't need to be texted over, but at least you're not wrong. That might be flawed, but I'm not perfect. I never said I was perfect. I said this is my advice. Don't send emotional texts if you're lying, illogical, or you're going to regret saying it. But if it's none of those things, then I guess I would send the text. I don't know. I just don't really enjoy when people come on my phone calling me or texting me with feelings that they haven't necessarily properly addressed on their own. And a lot of times when these situations happen, they come back months later or weeks later being like, you know what, I was wrong for that. Like, it wasn't even you, or I was going through X, Y, and Z, and that's why I came at you like this. This could have all been avoided. Don't do that. And definitely don't do that when you're like drunk or not fully yourself. Don't do that, because people can screenshot whatever you're sending and then look at you. You look foolish. You look dumb. And now you got to deal with looking dumb. Just don't do it. It can all be avoided. I think wait the 24-hour rule. If you're super emotional or something's bothering you, give it a little bit of time. Think about it. When your emotions aren't as heightened, then you respond. Everything doesn't need an immediate response. Next one. I talked about this on TikTok a little bit and the girls loved it. So I thought, okay, let me put it on here. You don't need closure. You don't. I feel like closure is a myth. Closure is a scheme set up by Todd, and you don't need it. For me, I feel like closure comes from within, and you can't control another person. You can't, but you can control yourself, and you can control when you're done putting up with something and when you're no longer gonna let something have a toll on you or a huge effect on you. We're nearing the end of the list. Oh my goodness. So the next one is you're allowed to outgrow people and old versions of yourself. You can still honor who you were in the past without having to be that person tomorrow. And I think that's so important, because a lot of times I think people can criticize you like, oh, you're so different, or you changed, or you didn't used to be like this when I knew you. Yeah, you've grown, you've learned, and you've matured, and things have changed. They have. And change is a really beautiful thing once you let it be. And I think you just have to find that balance of letting yourself be okay with growing and changing, and maybe not even necessarily knowing who you are in that specific moment, but you're still allowing yourself to get to know you without being so tied into who you used to be. Last but not least, we're on lucky number 21. Everything is always working out for you. Everything's going to be just fine. Everything will be all right and okay. You're going to do well and you're going to make it. I feel like whenever I get stressed or anxious about something, I always have to remind myself that everything is always working out for me. Even if I don't know how or the exact way that I'm going to get to point A or to point Z, I might not know what's going on, but I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to be okay. And I realized not too long ago that I have so much more evidence of things going right in my life versus things going wrong. So if I know that in the past things have always worked out for me and I've always been okay and I'm going to keep being okay, I can relax and I can enjoy this life and take the pressure off sometimes. Everything's going to be just fine, and what's meant for me is already mine. I don't have to stress about it. Being anxious about it isn't going to make it come any faster or any more enjoyable. I can literally relax and understand and remind myself that I'm going to be okay. We're all going to be okay, and we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out, and it's going to be beautiful. Life is beautiful, and everything is fine. So that was my list, my spiel of 21 lessons I learned in 21 years. I actually really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. I grew up wishing I had a big sister or just an older sibling in general, and I'm that for so many other people. So I don't know, like, if you grew up wanting a big sister and you just need that or want that, I'll be your big sister. It'll be me. I'll take the job. I'll do it. I love you, and I super, super, super appreciate you sticking and watching this. If you stuck to the end, this felt like I feel like I was just chatting a long time. But yeah, so I'm signing out. I will call y'all back later. Bye.